Who are you and who you definitely are not. The generator can't just sit or lie around like that. Generators produce the most impartial sounds during sexual intercourse and while consuming food. Yummy!
People often conceal true feelings. They say what they feel.
People who commute to work in the morning, it's like a frustrating cycle that comes back to bite them in the evening. He has this built-in setting to see the essence of another person. A projector is like the wise men of our time. He doesn't need to prove how cool I am. If your man is a projector, don't expect him to take the initiative, manifestors or initiators. Step aside, I came here to make an impact.
Hey all my loved ones, I am Olga Chebikina and we have Daria Makhalova, a human design expert, as our guest. Say hello to Dasha. Hello there. Thank you, darling, for coming to us from our beloved St. Petersburg. Terrifying, we all adore it. What's your city? And it's amazing that you can watch YouTube from any place in the world. And thanks our loved ones for this. We gathered in the studio to give it an entirely new significance. You're a grad of an Intel, School for Human Design with 9 years of EXP as a practitioner. And you know, it'd make sense to add a generator. You have a few educations unrelated to human design.
My initial professional education, I have a diploma as a physical education teacher. Also, I'm a manager of sports facilities. As said, in my hometown, where I graduated from the Academy of Physical Education, if we had football players, we would promote them. And I spent a total of 2 years in school for practical training, and she realized, nope, person's design, also known as mechanics, is connected. When studying to be a PE teacher, you have mechanics, physiology, anatomy, sports medicine, you have it all. This knowledge came in handy for me. You know, later she decided to pursue a career and move to St. Petersburg. Naturally, I was heading to conquer the city just like all of us, with ambitions. And they hired me as a sales manager, but that's the most common profession. I invested ambition into the word manager, so it seemed similar to me, like something in that vein. I lasted for 5 months. Thank God I got fired. And in general, any of my actually work moments ended with dismissal. And I really loved this period because jumping ahead like a true generator, which definitely frustrated and was out of place, I didn't enjoy dealing with cold calls.
You could say you had your first consultation with me by chance. So tell me about it, how to enter the profession. Because by sharing the life stories of experts, we also demonstrate the range of scenarios, how one can pursue their dream career.
I used to work in an office in the accounting department, and my then future husband enlisted in the army, so we resided in 2 different cities. Accordingly, my friends provided my first consultation. I heard human design combination. Let's do a map analysis for you. I'm telling you, this is what it is. So we had a Skype call. They were a married couple. They are both so esoteric, exploring various directions and branches. For 2 hours, they gossiped about me. I obviously hardly understood. I recalled generator. I'm emotional. I must avoid impulsive decisions. And since I didn't grasp much, but something caught my eye.
She ended up remarkably accurate.
Gotcha, because they gave a lot of examples of when the truth on emotions in my life made the grossest mistakes. So, I understood that, if I woke up in the morning, I wouldn't have said, written, or bought that wardrobe, or she wouldn't invest. And thus, continuing as an employee, I began exploring. First during lunchtime, then I'm thinking I can actually do my job not in 8 hours, but in fact in 3.
What it means to be a night owl when you prioritize interesting things over sleep to make time for them.
Yeah, that's true. This is what resonated with me. So I spent the rest of my time doing my job really well. Management had no questions. Then I kept studying and I thought, oh my God, this can be translated into a more understandable human language. Why make it complex?
Explaining complex things in simple terms. Okay, now I'm interested. It's clear we can enhance knowledge transmission. This is likely a milestone when the first payment for work in a new field is received.
First cash, yeah. This is when a hobby turns into something you are willing to pay money for. You know what I mean? Is it like the Japanese? Yeah, there's the concept of ikigai. So find something you can do easily, brings you joy and satisfaction, and people are willing to pay you money for.
Yeah, there's this awesome book by Ken Mogi called Ikigai. Please, if they're still translating about the meaning of life here. What motivates you to wake up? So it's been 3 years and it didn't bother you?
I believe that any tools of self-discovery are provided so that we can arrive at our authentic selves. It doesn't matter, whatever tool you use, it doesn't matter whether it's esoteric or exact science. Through trial and error, gaining and accumulating this experience, we understand this is me, but for instance, I am not this. And the design of an individual is currently just for me such a tool that provides answers to the question of who you are and who you definitely are not.
That is an exceptional definition. Would you be able to elucidate at this very moment in straightforward terms why we all go from one specialist to another, or why we all have a need for it? Here we look, we read, we purchase, we attempt to figure it out on our own.
We just really want to know who I am and who.
Immediately a question. To determine a person's design, they ask the same questions that astrologers and numerologists ask, for instance. This is both the place of birth, the date of birth, and the time of birth. It is the same principle. And how is that different, and why are these values so important?
In fact, human design is a blend of knowledge from diverse approaches, and there's modern science and quantum physics. And astrology is merely more focused on planets, on analysis, on houses, on zodiac signs. In the design of a person, planets do not play such a substantial role as they are believed to in the practice of astrology. Place of birth, date and time, that's 3 indicators. The more precise the time of birth, the more in-depth we can analyze your chart, Design in the present day is a relatively new phenomenon, as it actually originated only in the year 1987, making it a relatively recent development. And it is explained in connection with what event, why this knowledge came there. A supernova star went out, there was a burst of neutrino flux, this person through whom this knowledge came. But to not retell it now, there's even a documentary film about it. From the horse's mouth, who brought this knowledge here to us. Again, design is not something to believe in, it's something to put to the test, in practice, see how it works.
So Dash, the hottest, most anticipated moment. Manifestors, generators, projectors. Who should we start with? Let's take these 4 big groups, categories.
A person's design is an instruction manual on how to apply oneself. I refer to it as the passport of the new era, when we can obtain a clear description without the need for belief. Someone just informed you about yourself, you accept this instruction, all right, I will begin examining. Therefore, you are implementing it and verifying or disproving it. But you see, we're at such a conscious age, getting acquainted with design, for example, someone at 30 years old, someone at 20. So I've been alive 20 years.
Contrarily, they work here as well.
There's this saying, that's like how many years you've been in it, and to get out of it, you got to spend almost as many years. And the design of an individual, truly, it can demonstrate, based on different categories, who you are and who you are not as a person. It is believed that we have 4 types there. These are generators, specifically manifesting generators, projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. Most of our generators and manifesting generators, per human design theory, comprise approximately 70% of the global population. So about 70% of us, I'm saying us because I'm a generator, Olga is also a generator, knowing the map. This is an energetic type. We arrived here in order to maintain our battery constantly engaged. So the generator can't just sit or lie around. Here, try this experiment during the day. Give it a try, by the way. Here's the thing, so there won't be any activity. And there's this strategy the generator has to respond. A response is like a reaction in the body. It's the body's response to an external stimulus or trigger. Music started. Awesome. Listen to some, skip others. That's a response. Smell of delicious pastries. Smells so good.
Off camera, I love colorful clothes. Dasha is in a black suit. Oh my God, I need a black elegant suit. Yeah. So you were in the moment and you felt that you wanted it too.
Olga, she's a spontaneous generator, so your decisions are made in the moment. It's not convenient for others because it's unpredictable. So the generator's strategy is to wait and see how your body reacts. I suggest you start noticing throughout the day what you react to. In terms of everyday life, what do you like, what don't you like? Generators are the most badass creatures. So you see, this appears extremely genuine in children. They are not motivated by any beliefs or attitudes. You can tell right away that they have a reaction. And the generators have the most unbiased sounds. That's what I'm talking about. During action, when we get a massage, you just sound so good. No way to lie, because there won't be that kind of nature, that kind of sound. Therefore, I am in this situation. Brought my life is hard. To such a denominator, I generally do what I love.
because I am not able. If an unwelcome guest came, I have none. Unpleasant guests because I set them up. The process for all 3 YouTube channels is that I invite, which means I choose who participates. To avoid being idle, maintain a poker face. Nothing happening there. We talking. Gen's used by 70% of global population. Can you say that like 70%? Your surroundings. Sounds great. And how do they? Nope, they don't. Thus, we can conclude. Many people are overwhelmed by this. People often conceal true feelings. They agree to disagree. That's where various unpleasant things tend to occur.
Yeah, I often bring it up as an example. We have a satisfaction marker from the process or frustration. So out of 70%, a big chunk is currently frustrating. This is, of course, frustrating. This is a bummer. It's dissatisfaction with what I'm doing. This is a job. These are relationships that don't bring me any pleasure. These are money. These are even kids. I apologize. So it is not always the case that mom or dad respond to their child's needs. That's okay. Here they ask me a question right away. They just stand like that. What do you mean I shouldn't cook porridge for children or read them a fairy tale if I don't want to? And here's a brilliant answer. As a boss, you gotta arrange your life in a way that gets rid of all the things that piss you off the most. Nanny, delegate some routine or operational tasks that don't bring you satisfaction to an assistant. And when you prioritize in your life, you will not have any factors and you will not have any room for frustration. To drive, you have the green light, you're good to go. No, I'm calling a taxi, not mumbling about having to take someone, OMG. So you have to set up your life, right? And for that, you need money and resources. Next, projectors. Not energetic, only 20% of them. But if you consider 8 billion people, still a good number. The task of the projector and the mechanics of its body are fundamentally different from those of the generator. They have a strategy called waiting for an invitation. Projectors should invite you into relationships, life, love, work, and friendships. These are the areas in which he should not take the initiative, initiate any actions. The projector guides the process. He's not just named a projector for no reason like a spotlight. This here is the one who sets the direction, the beam of light. And the projector is mechanically cool, actually, designed to interact with us with generators. A projector is like the kind that goes, oh, I can see your strengths, skills, and talents clearly. And this is the type that can really give the generator a cool, pointed question. We just don't know where to put our energy. Here comes the projector. That's true. It's like it's built into him. That's a mindset, seeing the essence of another person. And he's scanning us like that. He really caught it. I don't know. There was a look, felt the energy. And they study you. And then during the conversation, they might ask you one short question that could totally change your life. So what do you do for work around here? Do you like it? And I'm telling you, projectors are like the wise men of our time, cool organizers, processors who are right there in the thick of things, seeing the whole structure and able to put it all together. I always provide a recommendation before giving advice or an opinion, especially when it wasn't asked for. Here are the projectors. Ask someone else. Do you want to hear my opinion? Or can I provide you with some advice? And wait until they tell you yes or no. Because the common mistake that projectors make is excessive self-promotion, thinking that everyone should pay attention to them. The thing about projectors is that they become noticeable when they build up their expertise. They don't need to prove how cool they are. They show it through their actions or case studies. I have many female projectors in my environment, including psychologists, agency owners, factory owners, and steamship owners. They are highly skilled at creating teams and building structures, and they don't need to prove that I'm cool. Their success is evident through their deeds, actions, and cases. The question that actually brought me here, projector, who are you? Who are you, that other person? Generator came with question to find out who I am. He will be everything. It's important for projector to downplay significance of this issue. He came to find out not who I am, but who you are, someone else. I see your skills. I'm so into you. I can be direct. There are a pair of markers where the projectors reside. It's either bitterness or a successful state of being. And the bitterness is a feeling of not being recognized, not being acknowledged, which is well, how can this be? I know I'm meant to be cool. They teach, show initiative, rise up, first-hand school experience, etc. Invite a couple of girls there for the first date experience. If your man is a projector, do not expect him to take the initiative. It is better if you take the initiative. Manifestors, about 8 to 9% of them, so even less. So these are the very manifestors, initiators. People came here to make an impact. This is an energetic type. They are mechanics. The body is honed from birth, as if the manifestor just knows what he wants to do, what he doesn't want to do. And the main thing is, don't bother me with this rule. If you don't break a child manifestor in their early years, then an adult manifestor is indeed a very proactive person. This is a person who is connected to their power. His aura, it's like saying that I came here to make an impact.
They also call the aura of the manifestor closed, indicating unreadiness to interact.
Truth is, you won't even come close. She feels so repulsive then. I have some friends who are manifestors, both men and women.
If they avoid interaction themselves?
Girls told me, I'm thinking, what about my girl?
She's not a manifestor.
So she's open when she takes initiative. Hey, I'm ready to meet up with you, give you a call. Yeah, right. And if she's not ready, accordingly, you can't approach her from any side at all.
The main problem that manifestors face is enraged and furious.
So they came here so that no one would bother me, you know.
I want to make an impact, take all life offers. I don't know how to inform, that's their problem too.
Oh, I intend to provide advance notice, not as if they could deduce it on their own. Don't deal with this get worked up, starting to get pissed off manifestor. He gets mad at you. Learn how to keep him informed. And for him to keep you in the loop, meaning to give you a heads up about his actions in advance. And when a manifestor smoothly flows through life and no one bothers him, he lives in a state of tranquility. But only if you articulate something to the manifestor. Or if you start trying to control him, he absolutely can't stand it and you'll be met with incredible anger. And we have the last reflectors left.
Yes, reflectors.
They are only 1%, but that is still enough as a number. They are also known as mirror people or reflectors. They do a really cool job of taking a sample or getting a grade from a group of people. If you lack a therapist, locate one nearby. In the hood or let Reflector find you, invite. Head to the cafe, get a cup of tea, and simply sit there and experience what you feel for him. Because he consistently mirrors you, you know.
They're the anti-system folks, that's their label, and why.
It is so cool to always be different, unpredictable and stuff. I highly recommend them to travel a lot. This ain't an energetic type, you know. Here they will, of course, reflect most likely the behavior of the family they grew up in.
Reflector doesn't care, actually.
It doesn't matter. To be the best or the worst. So for a reflector, the environment it lives in is crucial. The reflector's inherent question is who am I now and who to mirror. That's why they don't have as much attention. Hey, actually noticed more.
Reflectors often, they get mad why. They rarely discuss us. Posts not enough. Only 2 of us there, BCT and partly.
Yeah, probably because main task, 90% of people, 70 generators and 20 projectors made for each other. Need to wake them somehow. And let them. We smoothly wrapped it up, interacted, and then our world just moved on.
I was preparing
in a different way. Thanks and catch you next time. Thanks, I appreciate it too.